My name is Andrea Dort, and I'm a data specialist with the Region of Peel Data Center. We act as almost like a central source of data and information. A lot of it does have to do with GIS and kind of doing a lot of the mapping and spatial analysis. But then another part, and the part that I'm kind of a major part of, is handling the socio-demographic data and all the sources that come in for that, and then just really trying to help understand Peel's population. Every 5 years, Statistics Canada releases the census, and then the Peel Data Center synthesizes that data for a Peel and GTA perspective. We know that the census information is really important to a lot of user groups. And for example, all levels of government really do depend on this information for their program planning and services. As an example, waste management. They would need this data, such as like the detailed structural type of dwelling data broken down into neighborhood levels, and they would want family size information, those kind of things to plan for waste services. We know that nonprofits use this information for like grant applications to really describe their target population and the need in the area. Businesses, realtors, they use the data when setting up a new business or to understand their customer base and expand on clientele. At each census period, the team, we really do, try to evolve our approach. And in the past, that meant the static PDF documents that we called census bulletins. We went from very text-heavy bulletins that weren't particularly engaging, then over time adding more visuals and infographics. But then it was becoming somewhat overwhelming to users. It wasn't interactive or screen reader friendly, wasn't translatable, and it didn't connect to the underlying data. And this time around, as we were preparing, we wanted to add interactivity, we wanted to increase accessibility, and open up the information to a wider audience. So enter our new Census Information Hub that is built using primarily ArcGIS Hub. The Census Hub is really a mix of visuals and text that tell a story. So you'll see interspersed with maps and dashboards are explanations that help tell the why behind the numbers. In the Hub, we give examples of how the data is actually used and really set the context for people as to why they're filling out the census in the first place. Users can choose how the level that they want to interact. So for some, that may mean coming in and going straight to downloading the data, which we actually have directly linked to our open data portal. Or they can choose to explore the pages a bit further and understand the story and the why. The biggest challenge was that designing a data-centered tool for common users is actually quite hard. I think as data professionals and GIS professionals, you automatically want to jump to the technology and, adding in lots of bells and whistles and sometimes overcomplicating things. So often we had to really just take a step back and try and make things more simplified and plain language, and just not to be overwhelming to the users. And that meant balancing how many dashboards and maps we were embedding, and finding alternatives, and just really working on how we communicate, I think, to the public in general. One of our biggest wins in part of this was that we did add a user experience testing component to the project. And that was really time well spent. We initially didn't really plan to go to that extent. And then, we realized that as a team, we could come together and develop a kind of script for testing users. And we went out and we wanted to make sure that we were getting a range of users, both internal and external, beginner, intermediate, advanced, data people. And we hosted these one-on-one sessions where we watched how they interacted with the hub. We asked questions, and from that experience, We got edits, lots of edits that we could do to improve, but also it was really great to have it confirmed earlier on in the process before we built everything out that we were on the right track. And that was a really good feeling. And listening to this diverse group of users really ended up with us coming out with a great product, I think.